Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about one of Wallstreetbets' new favorite stocks, and that is SpaceMobile. Ironically, this article from June 16th mentioned the fact that while SpaceMobile was moving up a bunch, this was likely not a move caused by Wallstreetbets because it just hadn't been mentioned too much on there in comparison to other short squeeze plays. They did, however, mention that the stock did have a 21% short interest at the time, meaning that they may have hinted that this could be a Wallstreetbets bet in the future. On that very same day, the Cook Report posted some of the best due diligence I've ever seen on Wallstreetbets regarding the company, to go along with the fact that he has a $6 million position. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is. This dude has a huge amount of cash bet on the success of this company. This due diligence is so good and so detailed that I believe it's 4 or 5 pages long, but I'll be going over the most important and the most relevant parts that you need to know if you're considering investing in the company. The first thing that he starts out with is that SpaceMobile is at the head of the LTE space network. Now, he does mention SpaceX, although they do something a little bit different. SpaceMobile has to deal with phones, meanwhile SpaceX has to do with internet. Specifically inside of SpaceX, we're talking about Starlink, which is a space-based internet provider that already has 70,000 active users and is predicted to have around 500,000 within the next year. The other thing is that it's led by Elon Musk, who is pretty much successful at everything that he tries. This could be concerning to some, given that Starlink is so far ahead of SpaceMobile. They might think that they're going to try to beat SpaceMobile to their own market and transition to not only offer internet services, but also cellular data services, but this would be a very hard transition to make, and I don't expect them to try it. Now that you have a very general idea of the differences between Starlink and SpaceMobile, let's get into exactly what SpaceMobile does and what is the reason behind them trying to make this space-based 5G network. The reason why they're trying to make this network is quite simple. They're trying to eliminate all cellular 5G coverage gaps across the entire world. Like when you're in sort of rural areas, say you're out on the ocean, deep in a forest, no matter how far away you are from the nearest cell tower, you're still going to be able to get coverage. The next thing to know, and an important thing about SpaceMobile service, is that it's going to be compatible with existing phones, all 5 billion of them on the planet. This means that you're not going to have to make any modifications to your phone in order for it to connect to the space cell tower versus your traditional cell tower. Back to the Cook Report, he makes a whole bunch of good points about the market, but here's a couple of my favorites. First off, SpaceMobile is benefited by these few trends. Number one, falling launching costs. He's talking about the actual satellites that provide the 5G, and the launching cost of these satellites has fallen by around 90% ever since 2008, meaning that the cost for SpaceMobile to launch them is far less. Number two, high smartphone penetration, meaning everybody across the globe is getting a smartphone and they're all going to want 5G network. Number three, broadband demand, kind of the same thing here. Everybody's going to need that broadband, that 5G. He also talks about the lack of general connection around the globe, especially in India, Africa, and equatorial regions, meaning countries around the equator. Now, he says that there's 3.3 billion people who are covered but are not able to connect to cellular broadband, so they live in those rural areas, and an additional 700 million people who are not connected at all. Touching on their competition again really quickly, they do have one direct competitor in Link, although they're behind when it comes to their commercial, financial, and technical milestones, meaning as long as SpaceMobile stays on the track that they're on, they will beat them to the target market, and then they just have to hold on to their customers. If you're wondering exactly how they're going to generate their revenue, given that they're not actually a cell phone carrier, they will receive a 50-50 split with the carriers themselves, and currently they already have partnerships lined up with Vodafone and AT&T. Another important thing to note is their defensibility. Going back to their competition, they should be able to fend them off because they have over 750 patents and are getting more and more by the day, and they also have that first mover advantage. Like we talked about earlier, they're way ahead of their competition, so as long as they stay ahead, they'll be able to grab those customers first, and then you really just have to hold on to those customers at that point. When you're the first one in the market, you're normally going to be the top dog. At this point, the company is making nothing, and they're not even expected to make a single dollar until 2023. So this is something that's very important to keep in mind. This is a very speculative investment, but by 2024, their revenue is expected to have jumped over the $1 billion mark. Given that this is a company with a current market cap of under $2 billion, to be producing over 50% of your value in revenue every year is something that not a lot of companies can say. So I do expect the stock price to go up by 2024 for sure. In fact, the Cook report did a whole bunch of math with the pro forma numbers, applying a multiple in line with other cell phone tower companies and depreciating real cash expense. This is all a little bit above my head, but according to his math, his price target by 2024 is right around $250. Speaking of price targets, SpaceMobile just received a huge upgrade today from Deutsche Bank. They put a buy on the stock and a price target of $35, which is around a 250% gain from where they were at the beginning of the day. Now the stock did run up. I believe it closed around $12.50, and the high on the day was over $15. So this did, along with the Reddit post, cause a huge run in the stock recently. Even after this run today, you can see why this might be a very attractive point to buy in. I'll tell you, I actually bought into this stock all the way back when it came out, when I made my first video on it, at a price of, I believe, $12 a share. It made its run all the way up over the $20 range. I didn't sell. I held it all the way through the bottom, and I'm glad to see it starting to recover. But just know that this could be an attractive entry point, and we're certainly not at the top yet. I hope you did go on to enjoy today's video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like down below. Leave any comments while you're down there. What do you think about the company? What could I do better when I'm making my videos? But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.